Well, Britain's King Charles has begun stripping his brother Andrew of his titles, including Prince. He has also been told to leave his royal residence. Andrew came under scrutiny over his contacts to convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein.
No longer a prince or the Duke of York. King Charles has stripped his brother of all remaining titles and honours. Now he is simply Andrew Mountbatten Windsor. And the royal reset goes further. He's also being evicted from his 30-room home, Royal Lodge in Windsor Great Park, shunned to the King's smaller private quarters on the Sandringham estate. For most Britons, it's hardly a shock.
It's a bit of an embarrassment, to be honest, on the nation, on the country, everyone in general. This is a member of our royal family, these are our leaders, and this is what's happening.
He should be kicked out of the country because these guys live off us. We're the working class, we're the people in charge, basically.
2 decades of scandal have finally caught up with Andrew. His friendship with convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein and his imprisoned accomplice, Ghislaine Maxwell, has haunted the monarchy for years. In 2014, one of the victims, Virginia Giuffre, alleged she was trafficked to Andrew at the age of 17 by Epstein and Maxwell. She described sexual encounters with the former prince in London, New York, and on Epstein's private island. Andrew has consistently denied these allegations. Giuffre's posthumous memoir, titled Nobody's Girl, reignited public anger. In it, Giuffre writes that she was passed around like property and that Andrew knew exactly how old she was. The book intensified calls for accountability. Andrew settled Giuffre's civil lawsuit in the United States in 2022, reportedly paying several $1 million, though the exact amount was never disclosed, and without admitting liability. Soon after, the late Queen ended his remaining public duties. As anger swelled, King Charles faced crowds accusing the royals of a cover-up.
How long have you known about Andrew and Epstein? Have you asked the police to cover up for Andrew? Have you asked the police to cover up for Andrew?
Royal insiders say this latest move is meant to protect the monarchy's reputation and finally draw a line under the scandal. Andrew is now a pariah, shut out of royal events with no path back to duty. But critics say this isn't enough. They demand a full inquiry into his Epstein ties and for him to face justice in court.
DW correspondent Birgit Maas joins me now from London. Birgit, Andrew's life as a prince is now over. Explain for us what the loss of his titles and his home now mean for his new everyday life.
Exactly. It's the loss of the privilege that goes along with a royal title. And I think that's really the most significant one, is the loss of his home. So it's this huge Royal Lodge, 30 rooms near London, part of basically the royal estate. And he's basically thrown out and banished to the countryside where he will live in Norfolk. And I think that's probably one of the most significant changes when it comes to his daily life. We don't think he will be ever present again at any occasions, never be at Buckingham Palace waving to the crowds from the balcony. All those days will be gone, and quite an unprecedented move by the king, a really radical move by King Charles and by Prince William, who we understand was also involved in this decision.
Birgit, one thing that hasn't changed, Andrew denies the accusations against him and he's never been charged with any offence. So is this, do you think, the palace punishing him for his lack of judgment instead?
Well, indeed, there has never been a formal investigation against Andrew, but interestingly, one of the lawyers representing the victims, Gloria Allred, a US lawyer, she wants Andrew to actually how she puts it, come clean. She wants him to testify in public, and she wants an investigation. And I think what many people would have objected to or would have viewed quite critically here in the UK is that there was never really any remorse on the side of Andrew, or at least not anything that the public would have seen. He settled the claim with Virginia Giuffre outside court, but he has never really shown any empathy. There is now one investigation, we understand, by the London police, who are looking into claims that he might have used his private protection officer, so essentially a police officer who was there to protect him, that he might have used him, asked him to find out details about Virginia Giuffre, the woman at the center of these allegations against him. But other than that, not really anything formal that could bring him behind bars, or where he would really have to testify in court.
How much do you think public opinion in the UK has influenced this punishment against Andrew?
Public opinion when it comes to Andrew really is rock bottom. We know that 91% of Britons view him not favourably, so they don't like him, and that's the most, says the YouGov, the polling organisation that has commissioned this poll, most that has ever been recorded. Now that compares, for example, with Prince William, who 76% of the public have a positive view. So overall, though, which is interesting in this context, there is still public support for the monarchy. A majority of Britons are still supporting the idea of a monarchy, but there could be changes on the horizon. There's, for example, one member of parliament, and she's asking for the relationship between parliament and the monarchy to change. She wants it to be made easier for Parliament as well to strip any dignitaries of their titles, not just Prince Andrew, but just go forward and really change the relationship with the monarchy.
DW correspondent Birgit Maas in London, thanks so much.